Hey, welcome to the second part of this series. In this video we'll be talking about variables. I will open our script that we created last video. It's empty. And I will start to explaining you what is a variable. A variable is a container that stores data. It can be numbers like 1, 2, 3, 7.5, 2 billion. It can be text. And it can be other things that, like a game object, that we'll be talking about in future videos. I'll start by telling you the variables that store numbers. Let me write them here. So here they are. Yes, there's a lot of them, but you don't need most of the times to use them. The most important ones are int, long, float, and double, in my opinion. The others I rarely use. Here you can see what values they can store. You should choose like the lowest one that fits your needs, so you don't waste resources. These ones only store integer numbers, non-decimal, and these ones can store decimal values. The most precise one is decimal. Now, the way that you can create a variable is very simple. First, you write the type of the container. Let's say you want a float. Then you write the name that you want to call it. And then you can give it a default value, like 5. Or leave it without a value, and you give it 1 later on. One important thing is, for floats, you need to write at the end an F to indicate that it is a float. And for decimal, at the end of the value, you need to write an M to indicate it's a decimal. The other ones, you don't need any of that. Now let's move on to variables that store text. There's only these two for text. One is called char, that only stores a letter, and you need to write it between these two little guys to indicate it's a char. Then there's string, that can store text, and you indicate it with these two. Instead of writing a letter, you can also write the Unicode for that character. But unless you're a psychopath, I don't see the need to use that with Unity. You can just write a letter. There's another important variable that I need to talk about. That's called boolean. You write it like so, bool, our bool, and it can be either true. And there you go, you here have a list of the variables that you need to know for now. In the next video I'll be teaching you operators, and we'll be using our variables with operators. So try to keep this in mind for now. The most important ones are bool, string, float, and int. At least try to memorize that. You don't need to memorize the range, but what they do. These ones are decimal, these ones are integers, this is for text, and this is our bool. Well, and that's all for this video. I'll see you on the next video.